are bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, right? Okay, so let's go to our handy-dandy grade book, and let's go to here and here, there, and there, here. We're in 155, chapter 6.3. Now, did we cover all the way up to clearing fractions, or did we just now get to distributive law and combining like terms? You didn't watch the video? I talked about order of operations, and I should have talked about solving equations, did I not? I skipped formulas. Okay, I went to 6.3. I'll go back to formula. 6.3 is where I'm at right now. So let's go ahead, and those of you that were here and watched the video, whatever, let's look at a couple of homework problems. And I'll just pull some out of the book because I'm not in the mood to look at it. Okay, so .3 is supposed to be algebra, and I don't see it, so I'm just not in the mood to fool with it. So we're just going to do it on the whiteboard. I'm not going to fool with. Go ahead and write down your bonus. 25 points on the next test. A bonus says bonus right there. 25 points on the next test. Y'all have to excuse me today. I'm not in a good mood, okay? I'm a bitch today, okay? 25 points on the next test. 1 page, typed, single-spaced, Arial, 12 to 14 font. Summary on tonight's debate. Now, before you start to say, oh, I got to work till 11 o'clock. What do you do when you want to see something and you have to work? What do? You record it or you YouTube it. So don't give me that BS about you having to work till 11 o'clock. You're not going to be able to see it because you got a funeral to go to and you got 5 flat tires and you got to work 42 hours in a 5-hour shift. Okay, I don't feel like listening to it. All right. Summary on tonight's debate include both sides. In other words, tell about both sides and then think who you want, who you thought won, why, interesting things that you found out. Because I have no idea what's going to happen tonight. I know that a lot of people, over 100 million people, are going to be watching it. And I think that's good. I think there need to be 300 million watching it. As important as our election is, I think more people need to watch it. But anyway, now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 13 people in here. If I get 14 or more, they all go in the trash can. Okay? There's 13 people in here. If I get 14 or more, they all go in the trash can. Why? Y'all figure it out. Why? Exactly. Yep. So you can tell all your friends if you want to. If they turn in one, then you just sold out the rest of your people in here. Okay? 14 or more. Now, let's start off. How far did I get? I don't think did I cover clearing fractions? Y'all have to help me out. like this. Did we talk about the block and the ring? Okay. How about clearing the fraction? Okay, that's a yes or no question. Okay, that's in the middle. You wasn't here. Okay. Well, okay, we talked about that. We talked about the ring and the concrete. So that's the distributive law. Combining like terms. Then there's clearing fractions and clearing decimals. Did we talk about those? Okay. I got one no out of 9 people. Huh? Okay. All right. We talked about combining like terms. The what? The little man. And we talked about the ring and the block and the concrete block. Okay. So we covered distributive law and we covered combining like terms. Now I'm going to cover clearing fraction. So clearing the fraction, multiply through by the what? Common denominator. One thing you're going to realize about fractions is the common denominator. I'm going to change this whole problem, okay? Because I don't want to start you off baptism by fire. Let's make it a little bit easy. Let's say I got 1/2 times x plus 2 is equal to 4. All right, and I got a fraction there. And that denominator is what? 2. So if I want to clear that fraction, I'm going to multiply through by common denominator. And the common denominator is 2/1. But whatever I do on one side, I have to what? Do on the other. I'm going to write this out. 2/1. 2/1. And black. 1/2 times x plus 2 is equal to 4/1. And what happens over here? Well, 2 divided by 2 is what? 1. And what's 2 times 4? Now I'll distribute that 1, which it doesn't do anything. So get rid of parentheses. And how do you get rid of positive 2? X is equal to 6. All right, you try one. All right, you do that one. There's 2 ways that you can do it. That's one way to do it. Or you can multiply through by the common denominator. There's two ways to do it. And either way, you get the right answer. One way is to multiply through by 3. Okay, so I'm going to multiply through by 3 over 1. So that'll give me its common denominator. 3 over 1. 3 over 1. And I'm going to put my 2 over 3 times x minus 1 equals 8 over 1. And that's going to give me what? 2 times x minus 1 is equal to what? 24, which is 24 over 1. And then divide by 2. Or you can distribute that 2. Either which way is fine. And you get x minus 1 is equal to 12. And x is equal to what? 13. Now that's one way to do it. Yeah. And another way, if you was to distribute this, you would get 2x minus 2 is equal to 24, plus 2, plus 2. 2x is equal to 26. And what's half of 26? Okay, so there's another way you could have done it, but that's mid. I'm talking about, there's two ways. One is to multiply by 3, which is the common what? Denominator. The other way to do it is to multiply by the reciprocal of 2/3. Two-thirds times x minus 1 is equal to 8. Multiply by 3 over 2. And if you do it on one side, you got to do it on the other. And of course, what happens on the left side? You get 1. The reason I put that 1 is some people think that goes to what? 0. But why is that incorrect? How can this not go to 0? Because 0 times anything would be what? And you cancel the whole thing out. So it can't be 0. And anything over itself is what? 1. So 6 over 6 is 1. X minus 1 is equal to 12. And x is equal to what? So all three ways you get the same answer. Unless you do something that you just made up. Alright, let's move it up a notch. Let you work on this one. All right, clear the fractions on that one. How many fractions are there? 2. How many terms you got to multiply through by? 3. What are they? The 3/4, the 2/3, and the what? And the 6. But what about the x plus 5? Can you reach into a concrete block and get a ring out of it? Nope. You can't touch that x or that 5 until you what? Distribute. Now you could distribute first, and that'll make more painful. If you like pain, then go ahead and distribute that 3/4. But I'm going to multiply by a common denominator. And what is that common denominator? I heard That's what I heard. 12. That's a little bit of enunciation. Yes, thank you. 12. That's called enunciation. 12. Let's see, just Snapchat. He's sending me a messed up picture of himself. I don't like Snapchat. I can't get it to work half the time. I think it's my phone. So the common denominator is 12. And what happens over here? Well, that'll go out to this. It'll be 3. What's 3 times 3? 9, Hubert. Thank you, class. Appreciate the interaction. What's 2 times, let's see, this will go out to what, 4? And what's 2 times 4? And 6 times 12? Now what do you do to get rid of this 8? You get rid of that 8 because you've got to fool with this secondary anyway. So get rid of the 8. So that would be 9 times x plus 5 is equal to, what's 72 minus 8? 64. That's right, class. Now, I can divide by 9 on both sides, and that'll give me another fraction. Or I can what? Distribute. Take 45 across the river. 9x is equal to 65 minus 45 would be 20. So 64 minus 45 would be what? And x is equal to 19 over 9. Now, right here, at this point, I could have went another direction, and instead of subtracting the 8, what else could I have done? Distributed to what? 9x plus 45 plus 8 is equal to 72 minus 8. 9x. 45 plus 8. I cannot add 8 very well. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a mistake. What's 45 plus 8? 53. Minus 53. 9x is 19. And look at there. I got the same one. So you can do it 2 to 3 different ways, but what will you get? You get the same answer. All right, let's try nerd. One half x minus 3 plus 1/4 equals 3/4 times x minus 1 plus 3/2. So what I would concentrate on is getting rid of the what? Fractions, Hubert. Thank you, class. Appreciate the interaction. Multiply through by the common what? Denominator, which is 4. Good. Now I realize that some of y'all know how to do this, but some of y'all, this is reinventing, this is the wheel. I'm telling y'all how to do it for the first time. You'd be surprised at how many people go through algebra and not know how to clear the fractions. They go down, it's kind of like driving through the swamp. They distribute this 1/2, they distribute this 3/4, and then they get right down in here, and then they just start spinning the wheels. You can blame your teachers in the past. And what's 4 divided by 2? And what's 4 divided by 4? 4 divided by 4 times 3 is 3. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now we're ready to put it all back together. 2 times x minus 3 plus what? 1 is equal to 3 times x minus 1 plus what? Now I don't know about y'all, but I would much rather work with this guy than work with this. Saw a good movie this weekend. Magnificent Seven. It's a good movie. Okay, Hubert. Thank you, class. Why does this class hate me so much? No comment. Oops. Three x minus 3. Now before I do anything, I need to combine what? Combine like terms. Unless you just, like I said, like the punishment of dragging them on both sides, that's fine. So that's going to be 2x minus 6 plus 1 is what? Plus what? 3. Now, which one's a smaller bucket? Negative 3 plus 6. Which one's a smaller bucket? 2x or 3x? So that one comes over, across the river, and it becomes what? Negative 2x. So negative 5 is equal to, what's 3x minus 2x? Plus 3. Bring that 3 across the river, and it becomes negative 3. So x is equal to what? negative 8. Mm-hmm. How do you get rid of positive 3 ran across the river? It becomes a what? Negative 3. That's the river. Yep. Or you can say, how do you get rid of a plus 3? You subtract 3. You do it on one side, you do it on the other. Whichever one you want to do. It should be negative 8. So if you was to plug negative 8 into this equation up here, you'd get a true statement. 5 is equal to 5, 2 is equal to 2, x is equal to x, because that is the solution to this equation. And that's how you clear fractions. What have you given one of these guys? Those are decimals. Well, what you do instead of doing the common denominator is you look for the furthest, and I know that's probably not a word, decimal point. The furthest decimal point used, or place value. And then you multiply to clear. So look at this problem. This place value is the what? The tenths. What is this place value? The other one. What is the other place value? Hundredths. So we're going to multiply through by 100. And the trick about multiplying by a basis of 10 is what? What's the trick when you multiply by 100? Tell me the trick. How many times? However many zeros there are. So you count the number of zeros, and with each decimal, you're going to move 2 places to the right. If it was 3 zeros, then you move it 3 places to the right. 4 zeros, 1 0, whatever. So, 0.1 turns into what? 10. 0.26 turns into what? Now, I would much rather deal with this than deal with this, unless you just like pain and suffering. I'm sorry, what? Thank you. No, I'm just on medication. I'm sorry. Now what? Distribute. Yes, interaction. Thank you. Distribute to 10. And that's 10x minus 20 is equal to 26. Add 20. Add 20. 10x is equal to 46. You do not need a calculator, because if you divide a number by 10, hundreds, or thousands, you count the 0 and you move the decimal place 1 place to the left. So your answer is 4.6. A lot of times people can't do algebra because they've never been explained how to do it. I guarantee you somebody in here right now is sitting there going, nobody has ever shown me that before. Or they said it with the fractions. And they went all through algebra trying to distribute a 0.1. And when you distribute a 0.1 or a 1/2, you have to rely on what? Calculator. And that's why you graduate high school and you can't make change. Let's do another one. .25 x minus 3 plus 0.15 is equal to 2.6. All right, you do that one. You got 3 decimals. This place value, this place value, and this place value. Work it out. And if you can't work it, just consider yourself. Okay, that's my son seeing the video. Sorry. Somebody put up a sign that says, "Who's hiring?" WHOSE HIRING. Who's? WHOSE. I don't even think that's a word. No, who's is WHO''S. Who's WHOSE. See if that's a word. I don't think that's a word. And free tutoring. TUDORING. Is that phonics, hooked on phonics, whatever word sounds like? Tutoring. If your tutor spells tutoring wrong, chances are you shouldn't go to that tutor. And hoe, there's 2 types of hoe, okay? All right, let's get this straight.
What is the other type of hoe?
There's a hoe that you work in the garden with. That's HOE. The other hoe is not HOE, okay? It's HO. And usually it's with a lowercase h, okay? Get it right. If you're going to use the slang term, don't put the garden tool in your paragraph. Yeah. Well, this unit, yeah. This is the algebra unit. This is the toughest unit test there is. I divided it into 2 tests. The algebra test and the graphing test. That way you can fail both of them. That's 2 zeros instead of 1. I would love a drink right now. In fact, if I didn't have to go home and work on the farm, I think I would just go to a Mexican restaurant today and just drink and eat chips. It's just one of those days. The only other thing that would make this day perfect is it would just rain all day. That would be perfect because I want to go home and I want to lay down. I want to go to sleep. I'm just in a sleepy, lazy mood, and I know I'm a failure, but I just don't want to work today. All right, so what am I going to multiply through by? 100. Good. So that'll be 1, 2, 1, 2, it'll be 25 times x minus 3 plus 1, 2, 15 is equal to 1, 2, 260. Now I would much rather work with that than work with the previous problem. Distribute 25x minus 75 plus 15 is equal to 60. And notice, what are you using instead of a calculator? Oh my gosh, what a concept. Your head, your brain, it's a miracle. What's the 6 equal? Minus 75 is minus 60. Bring that 60 across the river. 25x is equal to 4, 3, what, 20? Divide by 25. Divide by 25. Now I don't have a calculator, so I'm going to simplify it by, it ends in 0 and 5, so it's divisible by 5. I know the bottom is divisible by 5. The top would be 6, and then 5. And then I could probably do it one more time. And that would be 5 would be 1, and 5 will go in there one time. 5 will go in there 3, 13. I got 13. What y'all do? What?
12.
Okay, then I did something wrong.
Can I ask you, you did 75.
Negative 75 plus 15 should be negative 60. Y'all should not be getting 12.8.
320 does not go into 2500 go into 220.
How do you know that? Well, let's do that. Divided by 5. I'll do it again. Divided by 5. All right, 5 will go in there 5 times. It's 64. Okay, thank you. I made a mistake. Sorry. 12.8 is correct. Thank you. Now, what's the rule? If it starts with a fraction, you end with a fraction. If it starts with a decimal, you end with a decimal. That's kind of like a common rule of science or math. If you start with the tenths, you end with the tenths. So this one is to the hundredths, so you might want to, what's 64 divided by 5? Does it come out to be 12.8 even? Okay, well then add a 0 because those are to the tenths to connect the hundredths, so don't go back. What were you going to ask? You going to ask something?
Oh.
No, I'm going to call it a day after this. Unless y'all want to fuss about that. Now, where's the one person that's going to go to my department head and say I canceled class early? Where's that person? They ain't going to raise their hand anymore.
Hubert only went over one section today, and I really wanted to go over 5.4. I'm sorry, folks. Every once in a while, your teacher, let y'all know a secret. Every once in a while, your teacher don't want to teach. I know y'all don't believe that, but